demonstrate you?
Yeah, demonstrate it for me.
See, the problem is that position is going to get very uncomfortable very quickly, and it won't give you the best viewing experience. It really depends on the size of the unit you're working with. And what I mean is, what works for her isn't necessarily going to work for you or me. So generally speaking, that kind of position is only comfortable after about 10 to 15 minutes of Netflix. But for the purposes of this video, I'd like to get a little scientific and get to the real facts about what is actually recommended. When watching TV, there are two primary metrics that you need to consider. Viewing distance, how far away you are from the TV, and viewing height. Is your line of sight straight at the center of the TV when seated? You see, where she went wrong was a fairly common mistake. Viewing a TV from a very low position is going to cause neck strain and fatigue. Not to mention off-angle viewing, which depending on the technology used in your particular TV, can result in washed out colors and lower perceived brightness. Quite often we are bombarded with YouTube videos and Reddit posts of people mounting their TVs above their fireplace, which can look aesthetically pleasing, but is completely incorrect for the best viewing experience. So today, we're diving into TV viewing positions. Yep, the distance and the height from your TV screen. Okay, let's get serious for a second. There are actually some solid guidelines for where you should sit in relation to your screen, depending on the size. So there are two big names in the game: the Society of Motion Picture and Television Engineers and THX. They have done the math for us. For SMPTE, the ideal viewing distance is when 30 degrees of your field of view is filled with content. So for an 83-inch TV, that's around 11.7 feet or 3.6 meters. So that's a nice distance where you're still close enough to feel immersion, but not too close that it feels like you're sitting in the front row at a cinema. But you're thinking, hey, ILT, I want a more cinematic experience. So THX recommends filling 40 degrees of your field of view, which is about 8.6 feet or 2.6 meters from the screen. Now, that's a little closer, but it gives you that somewhat widescreen movie feel. And if you're someone who likes to kick back and just relax, THX says 13.5 feet or 4.1 meters is still an acceptable distance. But now you're down to 26 degrees of your field of view. My personal preference is from another source called ratings.com. Now they have a great website and upload regular comprehensive TV and hi-fi reviews. On their website, they have their own TV size to distance calculator. It's a really informative read and I highly recommend taking the time to check it out. So as you can see, there is an easy to use tool to provide you with recommended viewing distances from your TV, depending on the size. But do keep in mind this is merely a suggestion. Personal preference is also as important. However, this is a great tool to use as somewhat of a general guideline. What this tool is really great for is helping determine what a suitable size TV is to purchase for a particular size room or predetermined furniture locations. For example, in my place, I have a few entertainment areas where the furniture distance from the wall is fixed, so it's just too difficult or ugly to move the furniture into a more suitable location. So I have to work with what I've got, and I will suspect this is the case for most people. For example, in my gaming theater room, my seating position is approximately 3.4 meters or 11.5 feet from the wall. So at this distance, I would need an 80-inch size TV or above to meet the recommended requirements from ratings.com. So this 83-inch G4 meets the minimum requirements. In my living room, my seating position is approximately 3.3 meters or 11 feet from the TV. And as you can see, moving the furniture, it just isn't an option. Regardless, according to ratings.com, I would need at least a 78-inch size TV or above to meet the recommended viewing requirements. Now I do have a 100-inch TV up here, and while I could technically fit a 120-inch TV on this particular wall, the price increase for anything over 100 is exponential, so it's simply a matter of price versus diminishing returns. At the time of recording, I could literally purchase 4 of these 100-inch TVs for less than the price of one 110-inch TV. So that's a no-go, unless the sponsor of this video would like to cover the cost.
Still no sponsor.
The elephant in the room is the viewing height. This is quite a controversial one. There is a vast pool of suggestions, opinions, and haters. But the bottom line is most of the sources I mentioned earlier in this video all have similar general recommendations. THX recommends that the ideal viewing height, stating that the center of the TV should be at or just below eye level to reduce neck strain and ensure a more comfortable, immersive viewing experience. While Ratings.com recommend that the center of the screen should align with the viewer's eye level for optimum comfort and reducing neck strain and improving image quality. For me personally, my 100-inch TV is positioned where my eye level is seated about 10% lower than the center, meaning when seated, if I look to the center of the TV, my eye level is slightly ever looking up. That's just my personal preference. That's also the big point to mention, personal preference. Just like our friend at the beginning of the video, we are all very different and all prefer different things. I've seen friends sit at 16.5 feet or 5 meters away from a 55-inch TV and be very happy. I've seen other people mount their TVs hanging from their roof and swear by it. Now let's be clear. Sitting too close to your TV screen can actually cause some eye strain. It's like when you sit at the front row of a movie theater and have to ping pong your head around to catch everything. It's not the best experience, right? Interestingly, adults tend to feel the most eye strain when sitting too close to the TV, while kids seem to have no problem. So your viewing position is going to fit your comfort zone. And these are just guidelines provided by the industry. So whether you're gaming or watching movies, your ideal distance is going to depend on what feels right. You can go with the SMPTE 30-degree guideline or go closer like THX recommends for that cinematic effect. Personally, I think somewhere between 8 to 11 feet or 2.4 to 3.4 meters for an 83-inch TV is probably the sweet spot. While I definitely prefer to be on the closer side, again, often moving the furniture, it's just not an option. So until I hit 1 million subs and I can afford a 97-inch OLED, I'll be living like an animal. But remember, just like any great position, comfort is key. You need to make sure that if you're going to be there for a while, that you're going to actually enjoy it. The right distance makes all the difference. So next time you're purchasing a TV, don't just pick any size TV, find the right size TV. Or in my opinion, get the biggest bloody one you can fit. All right, that's it for today. And if you have found yourself in the wrong position before, leave a comment. I want to hear all about it. Don't forget to hit all the buttons and check out my other videos.